Hey everybody, happy Friday. So excited it's Friday. I don't know about y'all. So today I'm gonna do something a little different, but wanted to kind of try it and see what's going on. Um, that I am doing a live stream from both Facebook and Instagram. So if I'm looking back and forth between two kind of things, don't mean to be rude, just trying to kind of work this all out. So anyway, like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this on both platforms. Um, so hope everybody's having a great day. My name is Heather Roberts, and I am the founder and CEO of eBy Design. We are a decorative throw pillow company that manufactures product here in the United States, and we ship everything out of Florida. So anyway, as you can see, there are a couple of things that are still behind us from our 2018 collections. Anyway, so I'm here today and wanted to talk about the series that we're doing on display mistakes that retailers make. And there are kind of five common ones. Last week, we talked about how failing to create good flow in your store or a right of way can hinder not just traffic, but conversion. We talked about some of the things that you can do to help that. For instance, making sure that you have a wide aisle right when you walk in the store, and then narrowing that down to have people so that they kind of can slowly meander through and not power walk through the store. So today we're going to talk about kind of the second um, most common mistake, and that's lighting. Bad lighting can make a huge difference in any store. And so what I wanted to kind of take some time and talk about a few of those things. So one of the first things is retailers need to make sure they kind of plan in their budget for lighting and to really take advantage of that. And because good lighting it is a make or break, right? Because there's nothing worse than standing in, for instance, in a dressing room, trying on bathing suits, which is traumatic enough as it is, and then have god awful light. There's no way you're not going to buy anything if you have to, when you have to do that. So that's kind of how I equate, the importance of lighting in any shop. I mean, whether you are selling, furniture or decorative accessories or gift or shoes, it doesn't matter. Good lighting is, hands down one of the most important things. So you want to make sure that you budget appropriately. There has been some studies have done that find that good and correct lighting can actually increase your sales by 12%. So I don't think I know anybody that wants to leave that 12% sitting out on the table. So there's some kind of big, just right off the bat, kind of keys and tips. There are three different kinds of lighting that kind of go into the thought process of when planning your shop. Obviously, we have the ambient lighting, we have accent lighting, and then kind of the high activity lighting. Ambient lighting does this. I mean, it's the ambiance, right? It creates the ambiance for your store. It gives you the feel, the look, the touch, all of that. Accent lighting, self-explanatory. It's the little thing that you go and highlight to see, the certain products that you want to have, get special attention. In the high activity, that's your main traffic areas. You don't want those to be dark either. So those are kind of the three very brief, different types of lighting and the things that need to be kind of in consideration. Some of the fixtures that go into that when you're creating, when you're thinking kind of about the ambiance that you want for your store. You wanted to think about the type of fixture you use. Vintage fixtures, chandeliers, dome lighting, those all create a more intimate and warm feel to your store. Track lighting, recessed lighting, or this like kind of more industrial suspended lights, they create kind of a more impersonal and in some cases a professional view. For example, like architects or various, professional offices will have, more recessed or track lighting and that kind of thing because they need a brighter space. So those are, a couple of things to think about too. one of the things that I think that we need to point out from last week to this week is lighting helps to also light the right of way in your shop. So it helps guide your customers as they, wander, through your store. Um, Another thing that you need to think about is when we talked last week about having that focal point. When a customer walks into your shop, they tend to go to the right because they're right-handed, right-footed, and they tend to look at the right wall right as you come in at the kind of a 45-degree angle. So that spot right there is kind of the sweet spot of the shop. It's the first thing that customers see. And if you have a poorly lit display, if your big focal point, your big sweet spot is not lit, you're missing it. Your customer has no reason to be drawn in and to go, ooh, I want to see this. I want to come in and look. So it's really important that when you create certain vignettes or you have your focal points or your sweet spots, that you must highlight them with accent lighting. And that sounds like common sense, but so many times I've been into so many shops and they have these wonderful little displays, but they're dark and you can't see and you can't figure out what's there. And there's no reason that me as the customer is going to be drawn to come in and want to spend money. So it's really important, to do that. And I think when we kind of look back at when some of these things, trends started, we can actually track this back to even onto shoes. Like the Louis Vuitton store was one of the first to really do brightly lit cases for their shoes, their bags, their, everything that they put. And then they had more, I'm gonna call it dim, the lighting was softer in the general areas. But in their display cases, those suckers were brightly lit, spotlight kind of lights so that you cannot miss what it is that they want you to see. Another thing that goes into when you're making a lighting choice, if you don't take the time to consider the color, and that can play into several different ways. And I don't mean color like blue, green, yellow. White has many shades, and white light comes in different shades. You've got the bright white, and you have the bright kind of cool light, and then you have the warm lights. And I think one of the best ways to demonstrate that or talk about that is, for me in my own house, it was one Christmas, we needed new Christmas lights for our Christmas tree. And I sent my husband to go get the Christmas lights. He came back, we needed one more strand. Like we were short a strand and we needed one. So he came back with the cool white bulbs. We had warm white bulbs on our tree. And so I didn't realize that when we were stringing them up, and he's so excited and he plugs in the tree, and they were like all these different colors. There was the cool and the dark and the white, and oh God. And I was horrified. I was just horrified. I was like, this has to stop. No, we can't have this. We have to take this off. It has right now. And he looked at me like I was a little bit nuts, but it didn't aesthetically appeal to have a Christmas tree with the warm lights and the cool white lights. It just doesn't look right. So pick one, stick to it. There is some theories and research behind the type of lighting that you should use, whether you choose to use a warm light or a cool light for your white lights. The warm white lights tend to create, or do create a much more intimate feel, a little cozy feel. It's, it's that, oh, I'm nice kind of and snuggy and warm in this environment. The cool bright lights, white lights, create a more open and larger feel. If you are a retailer who has a smaller shop, I know the tendency is to want to still keep it cozy and warm, but really consider using cool lighting and cool white lighting when you're, installing fixtures. The reason is it will make your shop feel larger, which will then make the customer kind of feel a little more when they're in there. They're not going to feel overwhelmed. And that's really important. Same can be said the opposite of, if you have a real large store, you can use, those warmer whites to make that feel more cozy and more intimate. One, another, what seems like a ridiculous kind of tip, but one that I've seen over and over, and it just bothers me, is when uh, retailers don't go around the store at least once a week, if not every day, and check for the light bulbs are not burned out. There is nothing that kind of gives a is gives a customer a bad feeling when you know that something's supposed to be all lit up. You see it, right? You see this, you can see the little fixture, you can see where it's coming down, you can tell, and the light bulb's burned out, and no one has taken the time to replace it. That's a simple thing that you can do that it will convert, will put into converting for that sale. Another thing is, guys, go ahead and use some extra money and get the good light bulbs. LED lights now, they've improved 100,000 times, and they last longer. So they may cost more on the front end, but invest in the light bulbs that are going to fit with the ambiance you're going with, that go with your store. Don't try and cheap out. I know that's an easy way to try and cheap out, but don't do it. It just doesn't pay in the end. So that's kind of a very brief overview today on the kind of what we in our research have found to be kind of one of the 5 mistakes that retailers make when selecting lighting or planning lighting for their store. If you want more information, we have put together a PDF. It's the 5 most common display mistakes retailers make, and you can download it on Facebook. The link is in the comments, and it's real easy. It's 5 easy for me to say, 5displaymistakes.com. Click the link. It takes you over to download the PDF. It's got great information. Recaps last week, talking about the right-of-way and bringing people in to your stores. Instagram, folks, the link is in our bio. So click it. Takes you right to 5displaymistakes.com. Download our PDF, and look forward to next week when we talk about the next one of another most common mistakes, which is visual clutter. Visual clutter is one of those things that is easily fixed. So, and wishing everybody a super happy Mother's Day. Yay! Whether you are a mom, a grandmom, a mom-to-be, or a second mom. Hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. I know that we are going to be taking it kind of easy in our house because that's what this mom wants. This mom wants to chill, have a little downtime. So maybe sit out by the pool and all of that. So anyway, hope everybody has a great weekend, and see you next week. All right, thanks. Bye.